from the Capeland Studios, this is Cape News on your side at 10.
Everybody thinks it can't happen here, but it's in those places where it can't happen that it happens. You got to wake up because it can happen there.
Thank you for joining us. This is what we know so far about the mass shooting in Hesston, about 40 minutes north of Wichita. 4 people, including a gunman, dead after a series of shootings. 14 people injured in the attack, which took place at multiple locations. The gunman killed after a shooting at XL Industries by a single law enforcement officer, a single Hesston Police Department officer. All of the deaths happened inside the XL plant.
Witnesses say the shooting suspect is former XL employee Cedric Ford. Investigators at multiple locations involved with this shooting. It began at Meridian and 12th in Newton, where a man was shot in the shoulder. Then Meridian and Hesston in North Newton, a person shot in the leg. Now to XL Industries in Hesston, where 4 people have been killed, including the gunman, 14 injured.
Kate Ferris has been at the scene all day, and she is there now. What does it look like now, Deb?
Well, Susan, everything here has quieted down quite a bit. All of the workers are gone that came streaming out of XL earlier this afternoon. This all starting about 5 hours ago. The scene is now secure. It's surrounded by law enforcement officers, the KBI now in charge of the investigation. Now, as we mentioned earlier in our coverage, there are several scenes involved. And tonight, one of those scenes is in Newton, where police have the suspect's house surrounded. His roommate is holed up inside. Our Monica Castro is there now with the very latest from Newton.
Yeah, this is quite an active scene still here at Wagon Wheel Drive. Now, I'm going to step out so you can take a look over here. Police have been out here for hours. I'm told by neighbors that they got a knock on their door around 7 o'clock this evening for them to evacuate this area. What we know now is that there is a person who has barricaded himself inside of the residence. Now, we don't know if that person is a family member or roommate. We don't know how this person is connected, but that is the shooter's home that person has barricaded themselves inside. Now, we got a chance to talk to a few neighbors out here, and this is what they told us.
I just didn't really pay much attention to him because, you know, I have my job and my husband has his job and we just live our lives, but I just never thought that he had that many guns and that he was even going to do something like this.
Now, as we mentioned, there has been a number of SWAT vehicles. We actually just saw one driving through that area. We have seen SWAT members out walking in the road. So, as we mentioned, there is still a barricaded person inside of the home. We don't know if it is a roommate, a family member, a relative. We are still trying to get that information. But for now, we're reporting live in Newton. Monica Castro, Cake News.
All right, thanks so much, Monica. Now, the sheriff speaking very openly about all this, even getting very emotional earlier today as he talked about this tragedy here at XL Industries, where 4 people were killed this afternoon when an active shooter walked in and just started opening fire on all the employees inside. Madeline Anderson is live just north of the plant here, and she just left a news conference where the sheriff gave us an update on exactly what happened this afternoon. Madeline?
Deb, I'm here at King Park, just down the street from XL Industries, where Harvey County Sheriff T. Walton described today's events as horrible and tragic. We hear about mass shootings in the news all the time, and as the sheriff said, you never think it would happen in a small town in Kansas. Now, at a news conference at 9 o'clock tonight, the sheriff went through the series of events which began around 4:30 this afternoon. Now, there were 3 different crime scenes, each outlined on this map behind me that the sheriff provided. They began around 4:30 this this afternoon. The first taking place at 12th and Meridian in Newton. A male victim was shot in the shoulder. Shortly after, there was another shooting at Meridian and Hesston Road where a victim was shot in the leg. The shooter then stole that victim's car and drove to Excel Industries. The sheriff says the shooter shot a person in the parking lot before entering the building. Once inside, he opened fire, shooting 14 people near the offices. Now, the first officer who responded on the scene exchanged shots between the shooter before fatally hitting him. The sheriff calls that unnamed officer a hero tonight for single-handedly taking down this very dangerous person armed with what appeared to be an assault rifle as well as a pistol. Now, moving forward with the investigation, 15 KBI agents will continue to assess the scene. ATF will also be involved. The plant, of course, will be closed until this investigation wraps up. Right now, the sheriff says he is still trying to determine a motive. The CEO of Excel Industries does say that this shooter was a current employee at Excel. And, of course, we will hear more from the sheriff tomorrow morning at a news conference at 8:30 at the sheriff's office. Again, the sheriff calling this shooting horribly tragic, but he applauds all of the emergency responders for helping the victims and their families. Reporting live in Hesston, Madeline Anderson, Cake News.
All right, thank you so much, Madeline. And I can tell you, we were here shortly after all of this happened here at the Excel Industries plant in Hesston, and it was such an emotional scene as those employees who were inside when this gunman opened fire came streaming out, many of them walking right up to us, telling us their stories of terror. And we talked to several of them, and we want to let you listen in. As darkness falls on the small town of Hesston, the flashing lights of emergency vehicles, a sad reminder of the tragedy. Workers streaming out of the Excel manufacturing plant described the terror.
I thought I was hearing explosions from something blowing up. I thought something was on fire. And then I seen a mob of people just start running out saying, run, run. And pop, 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 pop. Our operator, robot operator decided to look down the hallway and he got shot. So, and we were just all taking off running because, you know, that's what you do when you think there's a fire in the building.
The trios reunite in tears. She'd been waiting for hours to see her husband who saw the gunman open fire.
People say it was a 12 gauge and a 9mm assault rifle, and he was just unloading on everybody. And I told the girls that were working on my line, I said, let's go, let's run. Everybody started fleeing out to this back door here. And when we were running over here, a guy got hit in the leg, and Kendall and me grabbed him, and we were carrying him off here and tending his wounds.
It's a scene no one ever thought they'd experience in their lifetime.
And I started seeing wounded people coming out. Some close people, friends. I don't know. I mean, it's never in a million years something you imagine would happen.
And
people you work side by side with every day, just in a panic, you know, and what do you do? I mean, I don't know.
So you can hear and see the emotion in these people's voices as they left the scene here. They describe it as just unbelievable, indescribable really are their words, saying they just can't believe what they just witnessed. Many of them telling us they're going to go home, they're going to thank God that they're still alive, and they're going to hug their family members a little tighter tonight. And they also send their thoughts and prayers out to those who did lose their lives, and they are definitely, they say, praying for those who were injured tonight here in Hesston. So just a quick wrap up again, the investigation continues. The KBI is in charge of the investigation. And there are 3 different scenes that are being looked at this point, including that house in Newton where the suspect's roommate is holed up inside for some reason. Police trying to get into that house to see what they can find inside. Also, the suspect, we're told by some witnesses out here, has had some mental problems, and they believe something, and the sheriff alluded to this, something sparked him off today, and that's what caused all this. Of course, we may never know all of the answers. For now, we're live in Hesston. Deb Ferris, Cake News.
All right, thank you, Deb. And the president of Excel Industries confirmed that the gunman was a current employee.
Their Facebook page showing and telling us so much more about this 38-year-old man. He's being identified as Cedric Ford of Newton. Cake's Lily Wu joins us now with more details on the shooter. Lily.
Well, Ford's Facebook page is public, and we were able to see photos and videos that he posted online, including this video uploaded on September 20th of last year, where you can see a man who looks like Ford shooting a rifle in an open field. Now, the last video he posted was this Sunday, which shows him dancing to a Drake song with lyrics that start off saying, "Looking for revenge." Here are more photos from his Facebook page. He posted a photo of a rifle on February 15th and a firearm on January 30th. Now, according to his profile, he was a painter at Excel Industries and was a current employee of the company. It also shows that he lived in Newton and was formerly from Miami. Now, according to criminal records from Florida that date back to 1996, Ford has been arrested for multiple burglaries, fleeing from police, grand theft, carrying a concealed weapon, as well as prowling. Now, this is a mugshot of him from May of 2000. In that offender profile, it lists the tattoos he has, including the words "No Love" on his hands and a Grim Reaper on his arm. Now, again, this is what we know so far about the shooter from the public records and public profiles. Now, law enforcement says this is not an act of terrorism and that he has a sense of motive, but has not shared that at this time. Chris?
Thank you, Lily. As we reported earlier, there are 14 injured besides the 4 killed. It has emergency medical services and area hospitals scrambling to respond.
Many of those victims, as we said, brought to Wichita hospitals tonight. Cake's Chris Frank, more on that response. Chris.
Well, Chris and Susan, with so many victims, there's simply too many victims for any one hospital in any one city to handle. So several victims brought to both Via Christi St. Francis and Wesley Medical Center here in Wichita. Some victims were flown in by helicopter at Via Christi St. Francis. Others brought in by area ambulances. One victim arrived by an ambulance from the city of Sedgwick. Were you in Hesston? Yes. A few moments later, family members arriving, also rushing to get inside to find out whatever they can about a loved one.
What happened? What did you see?
There was shooting.
Were you there? Did you hear? Did you?
Yeah, I got to get in. My nephew was one of them.
Just tell me, how was he involved in?
He was in the paint booth, and this guy just come in with the AK-47 shooting.
Family members tell us Maurice Gomez is a 21-year-old shooting victim. Another of his uncles, Michael Vela, says Gomez was shot 4 times in the back, while another worker nearby was shot in the hand. Later in the evening, Vela gave this update on his 21-year-old nephew.
One of the doctors came in and said they were just going to take him up to the surgery center because he got shot in the abdomen area. And from being in where the location of the bullet, they want to get more, see what's going on inside and see which organs got hit.
Vela says he was one of the first victims that got shot. A cousin of the victim is shocked by the tragedy.
It's kind of shocking. Yeah, it's really shocking. I didn't think something like this would happen, but I don't know. You just can't really take anything for granted now.
We know at least a half dozen victims were transported to Wesley Medical Center also. We saw ambulances arriving from Newton as well as other counties.
You never know what could happen and when it could happen.
Sobering words from Michael Vela, who is just one of many, many family members on watch at numerous area hospitals, pulling for and praying for a loved one shot in Hesston. Susan?
All right, thank you very much, Chris. Other victims taken to the hospital in Newton tonight.
Cake's Ben Jordan is live at Newton Medical Center with an update on that lockdown situation at the hospital. Ben.
Yeah, guys, the Newton Medical Center has been on lockdown for over 2 hours now. Anyone who wants to leave or enter the building has to be escorted by staff. The CEO here says it's all because of the hostage situation in town that has not been lifted. Now, I've been here. More chaotic. 4 victims are being treated here. I was told a few minutes ago that all 4 are in stable condition but suffering from the gunshot wounds. Now, I've seen many families and friends enter the building rushing in with tears running down their faces, either knowing their loved one was injured in the shooting or just coming here to check.
It's gut-wrenching. You don't know, the unknown is what's scary.
We had at least 6 physicians that showed up to help in the emergency room. We have a fully staffed ER with nurse support, but we have extra ones that come in and we prepare. We are prepared to triage, and we can do whatever, expand and provide the care that's necessary.
And that man you just saw there is the hospital CEO. He says he hasn't been given a set time as to when that lockdown will be lifted, but it will likely be after the hostage situation ends. Right now we're live in Newton. Ben Jordan, KEG News.
Thank you, Ben. Digging deeper now, we have a list of the deadliest mass shootings in the United States just this year. January 27th, Chesapeake, Virginia, 6 killed in a murder-suicide. February 20th, Kalamazoo, Michigan, 6 killed in a random shooting. The suspect was arrested.
Reaction coming in from all over the nation, but our Kansas delegation, of course, reacting to the shooting. Senator Pat Roberts tweeting, praying for the victims of this senseless act of violence, their loved ones, and for the safety of all of those in Hesston. And Kansas Governor Sam Brownback tweeting, please send your thoughts and prayers to the people of Hesston tonight. And from the national scene, former Congresswoman Gabrielle Giffords and her husband, retired NASA astronaut Mark Kelly. Gabrielle, as you can remember, was also the victim of a mass shooting several years ago. They're releasing a statement saying, quote, we have to do better than this. We cannot let this be the new normal. Tonight, our hearts are in Hesston. Gifford was injured, as you know, in that mass shooting that killed 6 people. And the CEO of Excel in Hesston, Paul Mullet, also present at the news conference tonight. At one point he said, we are really saddened by this horrific event, and our heart goes out to all of the employees, all the families whose loved ones were injured or killed. And we're going to do what we can to take care of them and bring them through this tragedy.
Excel Industries makes Hustler and Big Dog mowing equipment. It's been headquartered in Hesston since the early 60s. There is a hotline for employees that they can call tonight, 620-327-1335.
Keep it right here on Cake. We'll have much more on the latest on the mass shooting in Hesston and standoff with police in Newton after this.
Tonight, the vivacious Kelly Ripa. From ABC, How to Get Away with Murder's Billy Brown in a brand new Mean Tweets movie edition.
I gotta watch that all back.
New Kimmel tonight on ABC. And this Sunday, don't miss Jimmy's After Oscar Party.
Sign up to paint, drink, have fun at Pino's Palette, now open in Old Town Square.
We know life is busy, which is why we make car buying and maintenance convenient for you.
At Don Hatton, we offer a time-saving valet service during the week. Just pre-schedule your appointment, we'll pick up your vehicle and return it to you when it's done, on any make or model, whether you bought it here or not.
Also, to accommodate your schedule, our service shop is open Saturdays 8 to 2, and Sundays browse our lot from 11 to 3.
It's Mattress Firm's semi-annual sale. A sale so big, it happens just twice a year. Twin mattresses start as low as $59.99. Queen mattress sets for only $199.99. And sleep happy with no money down and no interest for 4 years. Plus, buy now and save up to $300 on our most popular Tempur-Pedic mattress set before prices go up this Monday. So hurry in and don't miss Mattress Firm's semi-annual sale.
It's Ford Truck Month. This is the time. Now get 0 for 66 plus 2,000 on F-150.
Let me hear you say truck, yeah, let's crank it on up, yeah.
A high-strength military-grade aluminum alloy body lets you tow more of this and haul more of that. This is the place. This is Ford Truck Month. Now get 0 for 66 plus 2,000 cash back plus a no-charge 5-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty on F-150.
Will I have to change schools again?
What about my sister? Will we be able to stay together?
Where am I going to live? Does anyone even care?
They're just kids looking for answers. You don't have to be wealthy, married, or live in a big house to become a foster parent. Find out more at fostercare-ks.org. The answer is a parent.
Up next, Good Morning Kansas.
It's the largest indoor motorcycle and car show, and it's being held right here in Cakeland.
Plus, a Newton couple accused of child abuse is expected in court Friday.
On the next GMK.
Now, your Cake First Alert forecast with meteorologist Jay Prater.
Well, the weather bug sensor here at West and 13th, we've already cooled below freezing at 30 degrees, and the winds have really backed off, and they're going to be light for the rest of the night. As we look at the KCast with the RPM model, the sky has cleared out, and it's pretty much going to stay that way. This will be a coldest night for this little cold snap for Wichita. Elsewhere, pretty much the same thing, but everybody's going to dive into the 20s. Tomorrow, even with sunshine, temperatures will be warmer, but I'm going to call 60s still on the cool side. Another clear night overnight Friday night. Saturday is going to be fantastic. The only problem is we get into the afternoon, see this little developing trough of low pressure off to our west. It will become breezy, but it will be very mild. Saturday will be the warmest day. You can see the area low pressure across northern Minnesota as that continues to track to the east. Overnight, Saturday night into Sunday, next front comes through. Not a big push of really colder air, though. Just Pacific air, so just a little bit of a cool down. Will knock the temperatures back into the 60s, so Sunday will be a fantastic day. The better chance for some rain, well, we were talking about, Tuesday into Wednesday. Even that doesn't look quite as good as we were thinking earlier. So the forecast for your corner of Cakeland, starting with south central Kansas first. Overnight tonight, now that we've cleared out, we're going to stay cleared. It will be colder. 26 Wichita and El Dorado, 23 Hutch, 26 Winfield, and also Medicine Lodge. And then tomorrow, plenty of sunshine, and it will be warmer. 62 Wichita, El Dorado, and Hutch, 64 in Winfield, but those winds in the afternoon, 10 to 25, and a bit gusty. Across north central Kansas, we've cleared out. It's going to stay clear. We'll drop into the lower and mid-20s. Those winds light, becoming southwest. And then tomorrow, upper 50s to lower 60s with a lot of sunshine. The winds 10 to 20 out of the northwest late. And across western Kansas, the sky remains clear. No teens tonight. It will be 20s, lower to upper 20s, so not as cold. And then tomorrow, plenty of sunshine and warmer. The winds out of the northwest late 10 to 20 across northwest Kansas, lower 60s to the mid 60s. Now, here's the planner over the next 7 days for south central Kansas, Wichita, Hutch, Winfield, and Arkansas City. Again, Saturday, the warmest day, but becoming breezy. 72, a little bit of a cool down, 67 on Sunday and again on Monday. Now, Tuesday, I'm thinking only a small 20% chance of a shower or thunder shower now. Wednesday will be the coolest day at 46 degrees, and then it's only one day. Temperatures already starting to rebound on Thursday. Across north central Kansas, 72 Saturday, 64 Sunday. Monday late, small chance of a few drops, ending on Tuesday with maybe the crack of thunder. It's a small chance. The coolest day Wednesday, then rebounding in the upper 50s. Southwest Kansas, 73 Saturday, 64 Sunday. Monday, I'm going to call it a 20% chance of a sprinkle. And overnight Monday night, if it mixes with a flake, not a shock. And then Tuesday, a little bit of light rain possible, maybe a little thunder shower. But by Thursday, warming back into the mid-60s. In northwest Kansas, 73 Saturday, 58 Sunday, 64 on Monday. Overnight Monday night, a couple of flakes of snow might mix in with a couple of drops of rain. Tuesday, 49 degrees, but by Thursday, already into the lower 60s. Umbrella winner tonight is from Pretty Prairie. It's Edna Kemp, winner of the Speedy Cash Big Yeller umbrella. If you want one, go to cakelandweather.com. You can always send me a postcard to the address on the screen. More Cake News coming up.
See your hometown Chevy dealers today.
Up next, Good Morning Kansas.
It's the largest indoor motorcycle and car show, and it's being held right here in Cakeland.
Plus, a Newton couple accused of child abuse is expected in court Friday.
On the next GMK.
It's Sweetheart Dealing Days at McGavick Nissan of Wichita. Enjoy sweet luxury for much less than the competition with a new 2015 Nissan Sentra, now only $15,992. Or the beauty and performance of a 2015 Nissan Altima 2.5 is Sweetheart priced at just $18,992. Low Sweetheart prices on all remaining 2015s are yours at the #1 Nissan dealer in Kansas, McGavick Nissan.
McGavick.
Heartland Research locations are seeking volunteers for a clinical research study using an investigational medication for people who have high blood pressure. If you're between the ages of 18 and 75 and have mild to moderate hypertension, you may be eligible to participate. Study procedures and investigational medications are provided at no cost. Compensation for time and travel may also be available. If interested, please call 316-689-6652 or visit heartlandresearch.com.
Cakeland Cares wins for Kansas. Brought to you by Devon James.
A rare opportunity has just been announced at BMW of Wichita. For a limited time, get special savings on remaining new 2015 models. Get up to $3,000 credit from BMW of Wichita, plus up to $3,000 in additional credits on select models, including BMW Ultimate Service no-cost maintenance for 4 years, and all the benefits of the luxury experience. It's our largest and most impressive selection ever. Don't miss your chance. Hurry to BMW of Wichita.
My hero doesn't wear a costume, doesn't fly through the air, doesn't have superpowers, but she's the strongest person I know. Recognizing Joanne Boyce and the entire Clinton 12 for their bravery. The first African-American students to integrate high schools in the United States. My grandmother is my hero. Goals are more important than adversity, and true heroes are timeless.
Oscar Sunday. Before the stars take their seats, they'll take on the red carpet.
The fashion.
The statement.
That will have everyone talking.
On the red carpet at the Oscars.
Sunday at 4 on Cakeland.
Governor Sam Brownback tweeting that flags will be lowered to half-staff tomorrow.
We are still, of course, covering the standoff with police in Newton. That is still an active scene. Let's go to Cake's Monica Castro and find out if anything else has happened so far. Monica.
Well, this is still very much an active scene over here. Unfortunately, there hasn't been much activity. Now, we mentioned we did see SWAT vehicles and sheriff's officer vehicles heading toward Wagon Wheel Drive, but that was about 30 minutes ago to an hour ago, so we haven't seen any more driving into that area. Now, I'm going to step out and let you kind of take a look over there. You can see flashing lights. We do have an ambulance that has been on standby over here, and through the course of the night, we have seen SWAT walking throughout the street, moving their vehicles and whatnot, but we do know that there is a barricaded person inside of a home, but we do not know how that person is connected to the shooting. We don't know if it is the shooter's relative, a roommate, any of that. We haven't been alerted by police what that connection is. Now, as we mentioned, not too much activity. We do see a new vehicle going through Wagon Wheel Drive, but we haven't seen too many vehicles driving in that direction for quite some time. We're still trying to figure out what exactly is going on over there. As we mentioned, we do have a person that has barricaded themselves inside of the house, but we don't know how that person is related to the shooting that happened today. Now, we're trying to bring you more information as soon as we get it, but for now, we're reporting live. Monica Castro, Cake News.
Monica, just so people know, because this is active, you're getting very little information about what is going on at that house right now.
Well, people have been told just to stay clear from this area. We actually, when we drove and got to the scene, police told us to come back to a parking lot that was away from this mobile home park over here. They told us to even kill our lights. They didn't want us to hinder whatever investigation was ongoing over there. But a lot of the neighbors have actually remained over here. They told me that they were kicked out of their homes probably around 7 o'clock this evening, that police told them that they needed to evacuate. They didn't say just how severe, I guess, the scene might have been if this person who has barricaded themselves inside the home, if that person is armed or dangerous. So a lot of these people have stayed in this parking lot over here asking us questions, hopefully trying to get some answers and know when they can go home.
Thank you. That's Monica Castro reporting live from Newton, the scene where someone's holed up inside of the shooter's house. Investigators also tonight at the plant. They are at Excel Industries, where Deb Ferris is. Let's go to her. Deb.
Yeah, Chris, everything very quiet here tonight. A much different scene than it was earlier when it was very chaotic. Workers streaming out of the building, many of them running from the scene. This is where all of this took place about 5 o'clock tonight. You can see behind me the crime scene tape. I know it's dark. There are a lot of emergency vehicles. Law enforcement is here. The KBI is in charge of this investigation, and I can tell you it will take hours, possibly even days, to get through all of the evidence. The shooting started in the parking lot here. The gunman then ran inside the plant into the paint area, and and that's where he opened fire, right in the middle of that plant. We talked to many of the workers who came out of this, who came out of the building, who saw this tragedy as it unfolded. They described it as a horrific scene. At first, many of them thought it was a fire because they heard people screaming, "Fire, fire," and they thought they were running from a fire inside the building. They also heard the gunshots, thought it was popping from a fire or a possible explosion. All of those workers have been released from this building now. Many of them are at the high school being questioned by investigators. Others have gone home for the night to go home and think about what happened today. You know, many of them describing this as something they never thought they'd see in their lifetime. Others saying they're going to go home and hug their family members just a little bit harder, thanking God that they are alive tonight. Now, not only is the KBI involved in this, the Hesston Police Department, the Harvey County Sheriff's Department, the ATF is here. 15 members of the ATF inside this building right now investigating. We're told that the gunman had a long rifle and a pistol, and he was shooting with those weapons. We don't know the motive at this time, but we do know the sheriff knows the motive and says that that will be released at a later time. Now, the bodies of the 3 people who were killed, other than the gunman, he's the 4th person, they're still inside this building. They have not been positively identified, so those family members do not know, they possibly do not know yet that their loved one has been killed in this tragedy. Of course, we'll continue to follow this story and bring you the very latest. We are live in Hesston. Deb Ferris, Cake News.
All right, thank you, Deb. Back in January, it was just in January, the Sedgwick County Commissioners were discussing, this was Sedgwick County, were discussing creating an active shooter task force. The county manager pointed to a video put out by Homeland Security and the FBI called the Run, Hide, Fight as an example of what employees can do. We just did this story about a month ago. The talks about the group began shortly after the San Bernardino shootings.
And we know a lot more at this hour on the timeline of everything that happened this afternoon.
Let's go to Madeline Anderson. She is live at the Sheriff's Department in Hesston. Madeline.
Well, Susan and Chris, I'm actually at King Park, just down the street from Excel Industries, where Harvey County Sheriff T. Walton described today's series of events. At a news conference around 9 o'clock, he went through the 3 different crime scenes. He laid them out on this map here behind me. The first one took place at 12th and Meridian in Newton. A male victim was shot in the shoulder. Shortly after, there was another shooting at Meridian and Hesston Road where a victim was shot in the leg. The shooter then stole that victim's car and drove to Excel. The sheriff says the shooter shot a person in the parking lot before entering the building. Once inside, he opened fire, shooting 14 people near the offices. Now, the first officer who responded to the scene exchanged shots between the shooter before fatally hitting him. The sheriff calls that unnamed officer a hero tonight for single-handedly taking down this very dangerous person, armed with possibly an assault rifle and a pistol. Now, moving forward with the investigation, 15 KBI agents will be on the scene, as well as ATF. Now, the plan, of course, will be closed until the investigation wraps up. Right now, the sheriff says he is still trying to determine a motive. The CEO of Excel did confirm, though, that the shooter was a current employee. Reporting live in Hesston, Madeline Anderson, Cake News.
Thank you very much, Madeline. And at the Newton Medical Center, where 4 victims were transported earlier, they had put the hospital on lockdown because of that scene where Monica Castro is reporting from. The home that she is reporting from is near the hospital. Let's go to Cake's Ben Jordan there live to find out, is the hospital still on lockdown? What's going on, Ben?
Susan, that lockdown continues. It's been going on for more than 2.5 hours now. I've seen several officers patrolling the area, and anyone who wants to leave or enter the hospital has to be escorted by staff. Now, the hospital CEO, like you said, says this is all because of that hostage situation in town. 4 victims are being treated here. I'm told all 4 are now in stable condition. The CEO says the worst injury is likely a gunshot wound to the leg. Now, hospital management says they are unsure really when this lockdown situation will end, but it will likely be after that hostage situation ends in town. Right now, we're live in Newton. Ben Jordan, Cake News.
Thank you, Ben. Now, the Sedgwick County Emergency Operations Center talked to Cake News last year about their active shooter training. Officials told us they trained throughout the year, scheduling exercises and talking to staff on protocol. Even Wesley said they shut down one side of the ER to practice how they handle multiple victims after a mass shooting.
A little bit of a programming note. Tonight's programs will air Sunday afternoon from 2 until 5. That includes Grey's Anatomy, Scandal, and How to Get Away with Murder. Once again, those programs will air Sunday from 2 to 5. Obviously, a very difficult and tragic day in South Central Kansas. Our thoughts and prayers go out to victims and their families. Of course, Cake News will keep on top of this story through all the investigations, through all the updates, and we will have much more for you. Keep abreast on our Facebook page and on our web channel.
Thank you so much for watching. Good night.
For breaking news and your most accurate local forecast, Cake News is on air, online, and on your mobile. Cake News on your side.